All right, welcome everyone. Very excited to be with you today. I have an amazing guest with me and something that we get a lot of questions on in our office regarding weighted blankets. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. So whether it's for you as a mom or a dad or something that you like to use for your child, really this is something that's become a lot more popular to help calm, whether it's anxiety, sensory issues, ADHD, autism. We see that realm of people really using weighted blankets quite a bit, and that's why I have my special guest with me today, Ann Gerding, owner of Undercover Weighted Blankets. Welcome, Ann.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You bet. So excited to be with you today. And I am curious to get started, just so people kind of know where you're coming from. How did you get involved in something like Undercover Weighted Blankets?
Well, our business was born accidentally,
Mm-hmm.
and it was because I was tucking my son into bed, and he complained that he could not feel his sheets. And I thought, what? Who wants to feel their sheets? Yeah, and I started doing a little bit of research, and I ordered a weighted blanket, and I got the wrong size, the wrong weight, and the wrong color. And I was kind of bummed. So we figured out how to do it, and I talked to my mom, and she was a little hesitant at first, but my niece has some special needs, and we were able to lay the blanket on her, and she didn't want to give it up. So my mom said, all right, I'll make one, and turned into making a lot.
A lot more.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, it's fun when it can influence, your son, your niece, all the family like that, and know that it is something. I bet you that was such a great example. If your niece didn't want to give it up, like, ooh, we might be onto something here.
Yeah, because I said, Mom, just make it for my niece. Just make one.
Mm-hmm.
And she did, and my niece just loves it. So we thought more people would like them too, and we found that to be true.
Absolutely. And who do you find tends to buy weighted blankets the most for your product, or who benefits the most from them? What have you found?
Well, I found that almost anyone could benefit from the blankets. All three of my children use them. I have a 5-year-old, a 9-year-old, and an 11-year-old. And then I also use a weighted blanket. And the way that I've used it has changed over time. When we were going through foster care and adopting my youngest, and I was stressed, I used a weighted blanket all of the time. And now that my house is more peaceful, I'm just using the weighted blanket to help calm my brain. Like if I have too many ideas running through my brain, I can sit with the weighted blanket on the couch, and it just helps me take a deep breath, slow down, and be able to rest. And I found that a lot of moms like me, especially moms with intense children, really enjoy our product.
Awesome. And I think that's such a nice thing when so many moms we see with intense kids, they're going so strong and they're just burning themselves out, and to actually have something as a product for them for their own self-care, as simple as something they can have with them wherever they go or in their house, is such a nice way to give moms a little peace of mind as well.
Right. It's just great to know that there's an option, or there's a tool to help yourself, and a blanket is so simple. And it's just kind of amazing that something so simple as just laying a blanket on you can help so much.
Right. Yeah.
Because sleep affects everything. If you're not sleeping, you don't feel well.
Yep. And that's what I like. I think you brought up a good point, is there's, like for your son, he couldn't feel his sheets. And so you put a blanket on in bed at night, and it's going to help you ground and get better sleep. But you said for yourself too, you can maybe be in the middle of the day, your mind's racing, you're sitting on the couch, on your chair, whatever it is, you can use it then too. So it's not just for sleep, but a product you can use all day long.
Yeah, and my youngest and my 5-year-old has a sensory processing disorder, and with daylight savings and our busy schedule, he's just been really revved up lately. And one of the things that really helps him is like big, huge hugs, but sometimes human contact is just like too much for him. So I have been actually wrapping him in a 15-pound blanket on the couch
Wow.
in the mornings to just help calm them for 15 minutes. And I'm so grateful to have that tool, because sometimes there's just nothing I can do if he doesn't want me to touch him.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
You know? Hugs are just too much some days.
Yeah. And that's what I want to share a little bit from our office, from the neurological chiropractic that we do, how the weighted blanket actually works. And then I'd love to circle back to you and just help parents actually know how to pick one out, if
Sure.
that sounds good. Okay.
Yeah,
so
that's great.
we have been using one that of your products here in our office, and we love it too. If we're just sitting and having a conversation, mom will put it on her lap or a child will put it on his lap, and it is amazing how calming it is. And especially if you've had kids like in OT, is a common thing we'll see in our office, where maybe the OT will squish them under a beanbag, or
Yes.
like you said, like the big bear hug. And what it's doing is there's this, from all our little joints, there's a sense called proprioception that gives our brain the awareness of where our body is. And what we find is that this proprioception is such a core thing for the brain for sensory input. A lot of times we think sensory input is what we're seeing, what we're hearing, what we're smelling, tasting, touching. But this proprioception comes from all our little joints, and it actually is the most calming of all those sensations. And so a lot of times with sensory input, we get so many other things going on. And I think that's a great example with your son to help eliminate all the other senses and just focus on proprioception. You wrap him in that blanket. Not only can he help kind of shut down from the other things, but that proprioception is so foundational for our brain, because without it, if the brain doesn't know where the body is at, it actually triggers that fight or flight response and
Right.
sends the body into stress mode or panic or overwhelm or concern, all the things that come with fight or flight. And that
Right.
gas pedal gets going, and all of a sudden you put some calm through proprioception, and the brain says, whew, all right,
Yeah.
I know where my body's at, because that's more foundational for survival than all the other things, is body awareness, and it helps stimulate that. And that's what I love about this product, is it's so foundational with the nervous system and how it works.
Well, thank you. I found all that to be true.
Yes, and that, because I think a lot of questions we have from parents is like, well, is it worth the investment? Is it really going to work? How does it work? And that's exactly what we find over and over, that it does work. And that's why. Yeah.
It does, yeah. It's definitely a product that I feel comfortable and believe in and encourage people to try.
Absolutely. So for whether it's for an adult watching or for their child, what are some of the things that help them pick out one that is going to best fit them?
Okay, well, the first thing is people generally ask about the blankets to fit their bed. And I advise that I don't encourage that.
Okay.
We make blankets to fit the body instead of fitting the bed. You know, for a number of reasons. Number one, the weight on the bed isn't going to be helpful. And then it makes it much more difficult to launder because they're heavy. So the first thing is you need to figure out the size, and you want a blanket that's going to fit your body and not your bed. So we make sizes for kids 3 years all the way up to like people who are 6 feet tall. So first thing is you need to know the approximate height and then the approximate weight of the person who is going to be using the blanket.
And so and probably just a quick example here, the one that you gave us, you can see, top to bottom, it's probably as long as my torso, maybe a little bit longer, and that's plenty that we see really good in the office. So then go on the weight piece a little bit more, please, to help us connect. It's surprising when I lift this up how heavy it is, how much weight it actually does have, but how do you choose a weight based on your body weight?
Yeah. So the product that you have right now is a lap pad. So people are going to use those when they're sitting at a computer, sitting at a desk, or in the car. So those we generally make 3 to 5 pounds. Like a preschooler will probably be happy with 3 pounds, an adult at 5 pounds. And then after that, there's a general formula. For adults, the formula is 10% of your ideal body weight And I have found that most adult women are happy between 12 and 15 pounds in our size large.
Okay.
And then for children, it's a little bit different. The general formula is 10% of your body weight plus 1 or 2 pounds. But what I found with my children and other people who have purchased them is that their kids, if they're more anxious or high energy, they will actually like up to 20% of their body weight.
Oh, wow. Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can only imagine, this one's it feels heavy enough at the lap size, so I can only imagine when you get a full body one how much good input that is for the brain.
Yes, our most popular size that we sell is 15 pounds, which is our size large.
Okay,
yeah.
Nice.
Mamas like to buy those.
Cool.
Yeah.
Any other considerations that you have families keep in mind? Or is that the main?
Well, you can buy weighted blankets in other places other than from me. So I guess a question I would ask is, how can it be laundered? Because some of them can't be. They're only spot clean. So I would look for one that you can throw in the wash machine in the dryer. We wash ours all the time, especially if they're being slept with. And then just your preference. We have lots of different prints and styles that you can choose from.
Cool. And how did you come up with Undercover Weighted Blankets? What's the story behind that?
There's not a whole lot of story.
Okay.
My kids are young, and they liked superheroes, so we were, thinking like, oh, we're gonna sell these to all kids, so like undercover, like a superhero, and then the play on words like under a blanket, undercover.
Nice. Okay. Cool. That's pretty
that
fun
was
story.
The thought process. My husband thought of it.
Cool.
Yeah, we thought it was cute.
And I know as well you've recently started offering a hoodie to help. Is that more with sensory, helping give someone a little buffer from the world?
Yeah, my oldest son, he really likes the hoodie blankets.
Okay.
So he just, like after school, a lot of times he'll just need to come home and throw the hood on and just kind of zone out and have us leave him alone for a while, or he'll do the same thing in the morning. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Kind of keep everyone out for a little bit.
Yeah, that's good to have that. The brain, when it's going strong, it's just like I had read this book recently on sleep, and it talks about how when we're sleeping at night, actually most of what's going on is the brain's just processing everything from the day. That there's some about like resting the body, but basically it's just like sensory deprivation, so the brain can piece everything together that it was learning during the day. And so I picture the hoodie, something like that, giving the brain that mini break to recalibrate and reconnect and rejuvenate for the afternoon or the evening. Yeah, cool. All right. Well, as we're wrapping up here, any final thoughts, Ann, or anything else you want to share?
I don't think so. I'm just really grateful that there's a really easy tool to help us.
Absolutely.
To help us achieve calm.
Definitely. And what we'll do is is it through your Facebook page? Is that the main way to order?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So we'll put the link to your Facebook page in the comments here below and make sure people get access to you that way.
All right, sounds great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Ann. And for those of you watching, definitely something that recommend, like Ann said, such an easy way to get some day-to-day calm, get that moment of peace for yourself and your kids, and make life go easier.
All right, thank you.
Right.
Bye.
Bye, guys.